Kazakhstan is ranked 57th in the 2018 Sustainable Economic Development Assessment. 152 countries took part in the annual study of the Boston Consulting Group. Norway is ranked first, followed by Switzerland and Iceland. Top 10 countries in the list also include Luxembourg, Denmark, Sweden, Singapore, Finland, Austria, and the Netherlands. Kazakhstan is followed by Argentina and Russia. The 2018 Sustainable Economic Development Assessment analyzes well-being based on 10 parameters: health, education, and infrastructure development. This was first proposed in 2012 as an alternative to usual methods of analyzing economic development based on GDP dynamics.
Foreign investors are stepping up their activities in Kazakhstan. A large Chinese state-owned company is set to start operations in the Kazakh automotive industry. The parties signed an investment agreement in Astana and will invest $1.1 billion in the joint venture. The partners are planning to increase production volumes to 100,000 cars. The partnership with the Chinese company is expected to create new opportunities for the Kazakh enterprise to increase its production capacities, boost the automotive industry development and the export potential. The partnership will become an important component of the Silk Road Economic Belt Road. We signed a document of historical significance which will contribute to the economic development of the two countries. As part of the joint project, we're planning to introduce the latest technologies, increase the local content, and expand the brand portfolio. We hope that this partnership will be enhanced in the future.
Kazakhstan-made ships are known for their high quality and durability. According to international experts, shipbuilding industry in independent Kazakhstan has a great potential. 29 warships protecting Kazakhstan's national borders were manufactured at a Kazakh shipbuilding facility on the request of the Kazakh Defense Ministry and the Border Control Service. We manufactured 4 items for the Defense Ministry and the others for the Border Control Service. So far, we have manufactured a total of 29 motorboats and ships. The enterprise used to build boats and ships with a displacement of up to 300 tons, while today its potential allows constructing and assembling large artillery and patrol ships with the latest modern weapons and a displacement of up to 700 tons. For example, the FC-19 boat picks up speed of up to 100 kilometers per hour and is equipped with the latest control, communication, and navigation equipment. The Sarbaz rocket and artillery unit is equipped with a hydroacoustic system. We perform modernization of boats and ships every year. We also introduce additional components and equipment. Last year, the plant workers successfully tested the pontoon system, which is used to relocate ships through shallow water. We manufactured technological pontoons which will be used to relocate ships along the Ural River and to sail into the canal. The pontoon lifts the ship and has a draft of no more than 1 meter, which is enough to sail along the Ural and go into the sea. The plant workers are currently working on manufacturing maneuverable mooring stations for the border guards. These adjustable piers provide for the mooring of boats and ships in the areas with no permanent infrastructure. Kazakh enterprises are boosting exports to China. Kazakhstan-made meat and meat products are in great demand in the country. Cattle farmers in Karaganda region are set to dispatch the second batch of lamb to China. Earlier, local farmers delivered 20 tons of lamb worth over 20 million tenge by rail to China. Under the terms of the contract, Karaganda farmers should deliver 40,000 sheep to China this year. According to the meat processing plant managers, the facility complies with the main requirements of their Chinese partners, such as compliance with the European standards and the capacity to export products in commercial quantities. Kazakh producers have quadrupled the export of frozen lamb to foreign markets. In 2016, 190 tons of goods were shipped from Kazakhstan, while in 2017, the value totaled 900 tons. Kazakhstan-made honey is also popular in China. Businessmen from Shaanxi province, with the population of more than 35 million, purchased the first batches of honeybees from Kazakhstan. Kazakh's beekeeper produce about 10,000 tons of honey per year and plan to increase the value by 7 times. Kazakhstan is rich in natural resources as well as natural products. China is interested in importing your products to its market. For example, Kazakhstan-made honey is delicious and is in great demand in our market. It took about 2 to 3 years to establish the supplies of your honey to China. In the next 2 years, Kazakhstan will export more than 20 agricultural products to China, including rapeseed, safflower, buckwheat, peas, chickpeas, sesame seeds, vegetables, fruits, nuts, pistachios, and more. Kazakhstan's third honorary consulate was opened in Rennes, France. Political figures, diplomats and businessmen say that the honorary consulate's activities will contribute to the expansion of trade and economic relations between the two countries. The opening of the consulate gives us great opportunities to work with Kazakhstan, especially in terms of economy. I think that we can expand university relations with Kazakhstan's other cities. An exhibition of Kazakh artists' paintings was organized in the event. Works of art masters gave guests an opportunity to gather visual information about Kazakhstan as well as culture and traditions of Kazakhs. A resident of Rennes, Annie Charbonnel, became interested in the country after visiting one of these exhibitions. I've seen a big difference between my first visit to Kazakhstan in 1991 and today's Kazakhstan. It is extraordinary how your country has evolved in a good way over the years. Our region is also developing well. Rennes is the twin city of Almaty. In honor of the Kazakh megapolis, this garden has a similar name. The statue of Abay is set up based on the initiative of the committee members. An indispensable point of opening the consulate is visiting the garden and laying flowers to the monument. Brittany is known for agriculture and digital technologies development. The opening of the consulate is a new opportunity to share experiences. A Kazakhstan House sign was put on the top of the Kazakh Embassy in the United Kingdom building in London. The move is the evidence of a high status of a foreign representative office. Kazakhstan's diplomatic mission in the UK is the first embassy among the Commonwealth of Independent States embassies, which was provided with this opportunity. The sign is given to the countries which establish special relations with the United Kingdom. British experts support this initiative.
At a very preeminent part of London, in the heart of London, it really puts Kazakhstan firmly at the top of the countries represented in London.
The equestrian culture originated from the era of modern-day Kazakhstan. In his article, The 7 Facets of the Great Steppe, Nursultan Nazarbayev wrote that the Great Steppe presented horse breeding to the world. Evidences of horse domestication were revealed during excavations at the ancient settlement of Botai. Leading Kazakh scientists and researchers from Russia, China, Denmark, France, Lithuania, USA, and the UK proved that the first horse was tamed 6,000 years ago on the areas of present-day Kazakhstan. According to Alan Outram, professor of University of Exeter in the UK, Botai is the most important site to understand relations between humans and horses at the early stages of development. The professor believes that more artifacts will be discovered at Botai. The first ever transport revolution happened on the area of modern-day Kazakhstan. People received an opportunity to move with previously unimaginable speed. The ancient people started transporting goods, developing trade, exchanging technologies, and performing military operations in a completely new way. There are evidences such as household items, weapons, as well as the harness marks on the horse teeth.
President
Nazarbayev put the equestrian culture at the top in his article. Our ancestors were the first to ride horses and invented the saddle and stirrups. The nomads perfected the mounted archery shooting. We have a very abundant culture which was adopted by other nations at that time. Horse domestication attracts the attention of world scientists and filmmakers. A Canadian broadcaster is working on a documentary of horseback riders and the horse evolution. The filming was held 2 years ago at Botai. Botai is a key site to understand how the relations with horses started. This wonderful animal certainly changed a lot for us. Kazakhstan has ancient horse breeding traditions. A horseback rider armed with a bow, lance or sword has become the symbol of nomadic people. Horseback riders were featured on emblems in different eras. Experts believe that the world should know more about the equestrian history, especially the younger generation. After all, the equestrian culture, which originated on the ancient Kazakh land, presented many inventions that the humanity uses today. As a symbolic tribute to the great past, the power of automobile engines is still measured in horsepower. President of Kazakhstan Nursultan Nazarbayev's article titled 7 Facets of the Great Steppe was translated into Uzbek. Famous Uzbek poet Yangabay Kuchkarov translated the article. The writer says that the article is an important document not only for the Great Kazakh Steppe but also for the common Turkic people. It is the beginning point to learn about the identity of Alash people, says the poet. Sons of the Great Steppe who grew up being close with nature were the first to tame horses. The discovery of the golden man on the Great Steppes proves that metallurgy has developed in the Kazakh land. The translator says that the article contains the history of the whole Turkic people. Kazakhstan's past and medieval history, the present and the future have been discussed in the article thoroughly. I like the fact that it has a full history of Kazakh ethnography, culture and literature, as well as folklore and music. Herodotus in his notes mentioned that horses' decorations were made of gold. The golden man found in the Yesik fortress, which was mentioned in Nursultan Abishevich's article, confirms Herodotus's writing. She plays the Stradivari violin. Connoisseurs of classic music love her talent. The violin's pure sound and the virtuoso's performance made her famous throughout the world. A book about art and life of people's artists of Kazakhstan, Aiman Mussakhajayeva, has been published. There are a lot of young people who came for the performance. They are like a clean sheet. Therefore, it is important to give them only good information. I think that throughout our country, their knowledge will be enriched. The book's heroes include people's artists of Kyrgyzstan, Muratbek Begaliyev, director of the National Museum of Fine Arts, Yuristanbek Shigayev, and people's artists of the Soviet Union and Uzbek opera singer Ismail Jalilov. Each of the 4 books describes how the heroes became interested in art during childhood and overcome difficulties. Each edition conveys the story of a true hero who has reached achievements through the hard work.
Мы решили, что нашим детям обязательно нужно много знаний о том.
We think that the younger generation should know how art develops. Therefore, we decided to write about world-renowned artists.
Те, которые сегодня делают это искусство, те, которые уже на виду.
The purpose behind these books is to ingrain love in the younger generation and to highlight that art is sacred. Perhaps in the future, the young people who read the book will follow the footsteps of the artists. Famous US musician Martin Piecuch is interested to work with Kazakh musicians. The American musician is set to expand cultural cooperation. The choir master and saxophonist said that this partnership will benefit both musicians and music admirers. Martin Piecuch held more than 1,000 performances in various countries, conducted orchestras in Russia, and managed music bands worldwide, including the German and Czech Philharmonics. For many years, the musician represented the United States Congressional Philharmonic Society and was the music director at the Washington Symphony Orchestra.
A long-time conductor in Russia. I have found the uniqueness in music being an international language. And I would love to go to Kazakhstan and conduct one of your orchestras, for instance. Actually comes before the political cooperation, I think. Somehow, when you're singing or you're playing an instrument, all of a sudden you can do it together. There are no walls.
The 37-year-old Museum of Local History is located in the Jibek village in Yenbekshi Kazakh district in Almaty region. However, history of souvenirs dates back to Middle Ages. One of the important exhibits of the museum is pots found during excavations. The exhibits of the 8th century prove that the history of this region is rich and needs to be studied, archivists say. It was found in the Baurjan Momishuli street. A man from Shelek gave it to us. At the very beginning, there were a lot of trees called Shelekte. The name derives from Shelekte. Later, it was named Shelek in the Soviet Union. Today, there are a growing number of young people who say they know the history of the native land. They visit the Museum of Local History, are introduced to the exhibits, write research papers, and take part in regional competitions. We know the Sakha soldiers. As we can see, there are many exhibits in our museum. For example, most of the exhibits belong to this Shilek district. When the museum was just opened, there were only 150 exhibits in the fund. Today, the number of exhibits is increasing. Nowadays, there are more than 2,000 exhibits in the museum. A legendary love story has been shown in Kazakh. The famous Notre Dame de Paris musical, which is about true love, betrayal, gypsy music, magic and circus, has been staged in Astana. The performance is done as musical. Actors say that the stage is the most interesting and difficult for them, as they had to sing and dance. They also had to play as characters for the audience. Zharkanay Shalkarova and Rosa Mukhataeva stars as Esmeralda, who inspires by her extraordinary beauty. Esmeralda's character is very close to mine. I haven't gone through the things that she's been through, but yet her inner world is very similar to mine. She's a girl who loves freedom very much. She's a girl who grew up in the field and loved nature. This is what I think resembles me. Notre Dame de Paris musical is based on the legendary Victor Hugo's novel of the same title. The author of libretto is Luc Plamondon. He was inspired by the image of Quasimodo, not by his face, but by his inner soul. Quasimodo's heart is pure and he's a good character. In general, I am a singer. Therefore, I had to work hard as an actor because Quasimodo is hunchback. The book is listed in the Guinness Book of Records. More than 11 million people have read the book. The musical was first staged at the Paris Congress Hall. 20 years later, it is staged in Kazakh.
Кастинг жұмыстары жүргізілді, дайындығы бар, оның үлкен
Casting lasted for 5 months. There were a lot of preparation and translation works. Poet Serigzat Dusien Gazin has translated the text into Kazakh. It is great news that this performance has been staged in Central Asia for the first time. It has been staged in 9 countries. In any country, the language of the performance has to be the local language.
Қойылған болатын. Сондықтан да қай мемлекетте қойылса, ол міндетті түрде сол елдің тілінде қойылу керек.